Relax, recharge, repeat. That is so great, right? I opened up this garage door this morning to get all the light in. Welcome back to the off-grid garage here in sunny hot Australia. I'm definitely still in the relax phase, but this will change soon because we will finalize our PowerWall 2.1 today. I have all the components here on the floor, I think. But first of all, we've got 8:30 a.m. in the morning. We are charging, or we are producing 5.4 kilowatts. We have 81 amps outside. Guys, thank you so much for all your comments under one of my last videos where I asked how to connect our battery, our C+ battery 3.0 to the PowerWall. If we should use this 350 amp Anderson connector and keep the battery completely mobile as a detachable or removable battery, or if you should use the Lynx busbar system and connect all the batteries individually to this system. And most of the people were saying keep the original idea with the Lynx system and use some fuses in the power in module. With the C+ battery we already have a very easy to detach. Where's the button? Here's the button. Look at this. This is an easy and quick way to disconnect your battery. So it doesn't make much sense to have an Anderson connector further down to disconnect the battery again, because this is a very easy method and already designed in the C+ battery. Very good point, and we don't actually need any other disconnection point of the batteries then. Here it is. So, and I think these are the main components we need to finalize our PowerWall 2.1. We've got a breaker for our incoming power to the solar charge controller, and then have a load as the Xijia inverter, and of course our C+ battery. So the batteries will go on this side. Then we've got our shunt here, which we may use or may not use, and we've got our Lynx distributor here, where we connect our solar charge controllers and the load, and the Servo GX here as our control system. I also have 300 amps ANL fuses, which will be our main fuse in the Lynx shunt. And I also have a variation of mega fuses from 50 to 100 and 150 amps to connect our batteries and loads. That should be totally sufficient. And again, I want to explain the purpose of this PowerWall here a bit, because this won't be... I'm probably lying now, but this won't be a production system as such, not as our big PowerWall up here and the battery shelf, which is in full production now, which supplies all the energy to the garage and also charges the vehicle. But first of all, this will be more like a learning platform now for us to explore fully the communication between the batteries and the Servo GX and the Victron system, and see what the problems are, what the benefits are. Is it worth doing it at all? Because currently here on the battery shelf I'm not running any communication at all, and everything works fine. But with these larger systems now, with the battery shelf and 3 15 kilowatt hour batteries in parallel, I can see the need of having a communication between your batteries and the rest of your system. Well, as you know, we have seen around 250, 260 amps going into these 3 battery banks here. And if you would think of one of the battery banks would shut down because of a cell overvoltage protection or a BMS fault or the circuit breaker trips or anything else, so you're losing one battery, this 250 amps will then split up into the remaining battery banks and causes issues over there. And we will have a fairly quick shutdown of the whole system. And in this case, there's nothing to tell the solar charge controllers to slow down or to stop charging. As long as they can measure the battery voltage, they keep pumping in the 250 amps as much as they can. And as I said, with such larger systems, I can see a certain need of having a communication between the battery and solar charge controllers and inverters as well. And this is exactly what I want to explore now with this part of the system here. And we already have connected the batteries together and have them communicating to the Victron system and to a computer. So we could actually experience what is happening when the battery shuts down or when it's fully charged. So eventually we have to integrate these two systems together then I'm not 100% sure how to do that yet, but we will figure this out later down the track. It's not too important right now, because for quite a while I will have these two systems here completely separate. And I had some playing around here last night already with the actual design of it. So if we have the solar charge controller on this side here, and then we have the inverter on this side here, this will already fill up. This is just not the inverter. The Xijia inverter is basically too large for this part here. It will take up all the space on this power wall. I either could take another aluminium sheet down here and extend the power wall further down so we can mount the inverter in the lower part, or I can keep it as a mobile solution and just use the blue Anderson connectors here, and then we connect it to our distributor. And to be honest, I want to leave some space for a second solar charge controller here as well, because one of them will be our pool fence system. So you probably wonder why I still have these solar panels up there against the pool fence. This was our winter setup here to gain more energy while the sun was on a lower angle, and it worked quite well. So we will use the solar fence system here to charge our Seplos batteries in the first place. But as I said, I wanna plan for a second solar charge controller and probably connect more solar panels somewhere else here on the property to this system here, because I think the pool fence system will not be enough to charge our 14 plus 6, around 20 to 21 kilowatt hours these two Seplos batteries have already. And you know, I've got a third box sitting there just waiting to be commissioned. I'm just waiting for the cells to come in. And then this 1.1 kilowatt system here won't be enough to charge this battery. And then having the incoming breakers here for the solar system, and then from here we go into our PV positive, negative, and then the battery connects here and goes to our distribution bus bar up there. But then I was thinking, how do I route the cables again? Do I need some ducting here or something? Then I don't want to have the cables just coming around and, you know, like this. This is just shit. So I had a look in stock and I found another piece of slotted duct, and I will mount this one here at the bottom and extend our cable duct on the right like this, and then we have a nice installation here and can have the solar charge controller in the middle and just feed all the cables from the solar charge controllers directly into this duct here, going around, going up into the Lynx distributor, into the Lynx distributor, this thingy here, into the Lynx Peter. This is just a cleaner way. I don't wanna have any cables dangling around here or something, you know. Even if it's just a test environment, we wanna work as clean as possible here. Just a word to the Lynx Smart Shunt. At this point, I'm not sure if we actually use it because I want to use the BMS of the Seplos battery. This is the whole point, right? To have the battery communicating back to our system. And after this initial testing with the Seplos batteries and the smart BMSs they have, we know they can act as a smart shunt. So they deliver voltage, amps, charge currents, discharge currents, all these information to our system and then regulate the power as needed. But this is exactly what the Seplos BMS already does. So at the beginning, I would say we are installing the 300 amp fuse up here to connect the circuits, but we are not using the smart shunt as such and connect this one to the servo. So this will be just a pass-through device for the moment. Maybe I even take it out at some stage and then we can connect the bus bars, the power in module directly to the Lynx Peter. But for the moment, we'll just leave it in there. It's just, don't want to muck around with this shit at the moment. And as you can see, I'm also having the servo still connected to the Müller 12-volt battery here. And I logged into the battery with the DALI app last night, and it prompted me to do this firmware update. And some people have sent me emails about this, and there's also a big thread on the Do-It-Yourself Solar Forum. I'll link it down below if I don't forget, otherwise just Google it, where people actually prick their system by following the firmware upgrade instructions. So I'm not going to do that at all, but we also have to think about how to power the Servo GX here, either by directly connecting it to the 48 volt bus bar here or using a DC buck converter and using just 24 volt or 12 volt to power the servo. But again, later, but still, I start thinking about all this now. It all comes back, guys, it all comes back. All this thinking of how to design it and what to think about in the future upgrades and how to use the system, for, how to charge it, how to discharge it. It feels great. Okay, this was a very, very long intro. I apologize for that. Let's get started with some practical work here. I have to turn on the vehicle charger now, so both inverters will ramp up the fan speed, and I also have turned on the air condition because, okay, I can't show you the numbers, that's ridiculous. We've got 27 degrees in the garage here, 29 in the battery, and 32 outside. That is not even hot. I'm somehow getting used to this cold air from the aircon. That is ridiculous. I shouldn't turn this on, but anyway, it will get a bit louder here because of all the fans running. If it gets too loud, please let me know, and well, then it's too late anyway. Okay, I have now cut a 300mm wide aluminium sheet to cover the bottom area, and then we can mount the inverter down here somewhere. It is a bit flappy here in the middle because there's no support. I used this off-cut aluminium piece here to put somewhere in the middle over here to overlap 2 screws in the top sheet and 2 screws in the bottom sheet, and that should stabilize it and connect it better to this one. I mean, it's not super stable as well, but together, so in a team, they'll be much stronger. Of course, this goes behind, not on top. I mean, that was clear, right? That was clear. So, see? Something like this. We're making good progress here. Nice. Just a question here to Average Joe. With extending this PowerWall 2.1 now, do I have a PowerWall 2.2? So I think from a mechanical perspective we have installed all the components on the PowerWall 2.1 and 2.2 now, and it's time to start the cabling. Well, if there wouldn't be a major problem. Well, I've got nowhere to put the battery. There's literally no space in this area here to park the battery and connect it in a useful way. Okay guys, so far this video from this morning. As always, thank you very much for watching. Thanks so much for all your amazing support here on the channel. Hundreds of comments I need to read and reply to them. And many of you have great ideas, so I'm always keen to read the comments. Well, I guess until the next video, when we have to find a space for these batteries, you stay charged and safe, of course. And yeah, thanks again for watching. See you then. I'm not sure if I put them in here or this corner. It's got longer cables to my bus bars. Here would be good, but then I'm blocking my circuit breakers.